Good morning, or good afternoon. It's my morning since I work night shifts right now. Coping mechanisms, survival roles, survival styles. Let's look at some of these wounds and then just a basic outline of what keeps it going and going and going and keeps a person tied to those wounds. The four wounds: the abandonment, depression, PTSD, emotional immaturity. Abandonment is where love left without explanation. Depression is where joy was swallowed by silence. PTSD, where the body remembers what the mind cannot bear. Emotional immaturity, where learning how to feel and how to handle emotions was not taught, was not learned. Only how to hide, not as in physical hiding. Well, yeah, part that too, but more of psychological hiding. And then the four things that perpetuate it: fear, which says that safety is in hiding, psychological hiding, emotional hiding, and that pain and dealing with pain is weakness. To look at pain is weakness, to acknowledge pain is weakness. See, that's a real kicker. That's a real toxifier right there. Self-seeking, that's another toxifier, which convinces a person that everything must orbit around their wounds, but yet it's at a subconscious level. It's not something that's fully up front in the mind. Self-delusion, which creates this mask that go over the mirrors, because there's so many mirrors out there in the world that give us a reflection of what we're thinking and what we're doing, but yet we'll make this mask that goes over that mirror, and then we'll call it truth. That's self-delusion. And then self-pity basically builds a temple to the suffering and crowns it as sacred. So anyway, there's that. And let's look at this right here. True love purifies. True love purifies everything. And a person would say, well, no, it doesn't. Well, yeah, there's some truth to it, and then there's also some not truth to it. The truth is you're standing in enough truth, and you're running on enough integrity in each area of your life of heart, mind, body, and soul. You got all those going on, and you're very self-reconciled and consistently aware of those things, and you're very fine-tuned, and you come across somebody who is not, those connections, that true love you're coming off with right there, that's going to purify them, at least momentarily. That is not to say that it's a one and done. No. And no, I don't believe a person should stay in relationships or stay around this person or that person if they will not even try, or not even one bit. But however, okay, let's look at this. The paradox of progress. Oh, that's kind of in the way. Let's not do that. Okay, let's look at those true love paradoxes. The paradox of progress. We live in an age of technological miracles, instant communication, information abundance. We can simulate stars, map genomes, and decode ancient light, yet we are failing catastrophically in the realm of the heart. Despite our outward advancements, humanity continues to suffer from war, to suffer from addiction, to suffer from broken relationships and inner torment. Why? And the answer is entirely overlooked. It's right there in front of our face every single freaking day. It's just like right there. but yet we choose to look in between instead. It's because we never fully learned how to love ourselves. We never fully learned how to make that connection with the spirit of the universe first and foremost, and with the people around us, and how to self-reconcile and things like that. Because without knowing how to self-forgive and self-reconcile first and foremost, all the rest of the forgiveness and self-reconciliation after that is nothing more than just a performance. Yeah, it may work to a certain degree, and yeah, it may seem fine and dandy, but it lacks depth, it lacks perception, it's in the shallows, it's superficial. It's not what I'd call a high quality love or true love. See, when I say the terms true love, there's no such thing as a false love. That's just a term. It's like there's only degrees and intensities, qualities of those connections of love, and love is, in short, it's focused, shared attention. Let's look at some more stuff. Part 1, the hidden core of all division. Every grudge we hold, every resentment we justify, every prejudice we protect, and every unforgivable act we brand as irreconcilable is a projection of the very parts of ourselves that we have not embraced, healed, or integrated. If we think about that for a second, it's like, man, that is saying some serious business right there. It's like you're saying, so basically, if I'm holding something that I despise or I disgust, and I'm saying that I forgave the person, it's like I hold the disgust and the despising of the act, but I don't hold the person in forgiveness. That right there. That betrayal. Things like that. Betrayal. Betrayal wears many masks. All right, let's keep on trucking right along. Part 2. The flawed formula of modern morality. Modern culture teaches that virtue is external behavior. Here, let's try that again. Modern culture teaches us that virtue is external behavior. Be nice, be good, be productive, be tolerant. But this is not purity, this is performance. That's why so many spiritual, political, and moral leaders fall from grace. They've mastered image. Damn. But never addressed their inner fractures. The missing link is this. If love cannot reach the darkest parts of ourselves, then it's not true love. Think about how we run around, we'll forgive this person, that person, sweep this under the carpet, sweep that under the carpet, do our version of reconciliation on this or that. But yet on the inside, it's like we have a disgust and a despise towards whatever that action thing is or was, because it's something that we haven't made peace with ourselves. It's like we're holding ourselves in contempt and don't even know. And if we're doing that, then how are we going to give somebody something that would be a wholesome reconciliation, a wholesome relationship? The answer is it's not. It's not. It's not. It's just a ticking time bomb. It's just a performance. It's just and the telltale symptoms of this is the fact that it's like it stays superficial. It stays highly intellectual. It stays in the shallows. Okay. Until we see that the unforgivable things that we hate in others are the echoes of what we haven't healed in ourselves. Son of a bitch. It's like, is that true? Yes. Yeah, it's very true. Part 3. True love is purification, not permission. To love truly does not mean to excuse harm. It means to see it fully, understand its roots, and refuse to let it harden you into bitterness. That means to refuse to fall into the fault finding and the blaming and the condemnation and the shaming people. See, guilt is kind of good. Guilt means, okay, we know we fucked up and we're going to rectify it immediately. It's like we're on a mission until it's done. That's guilt. That's good. That's what you want. That's what we all want. That's a healthy psyche. That's healthy emotions, healthy heart, mind, body, and soul. But shame is like to say, oh, I am the mess up. No, see, that's not it. And see, when we're holding somebody in unforgiveness, or we're holding a grudge against somebody, or someone betrayed us, and we hold it as such, it's like we're holding that toxified guilt, which would be good. We're like holding on to that rigidly, and we're holding on to the shame that that other person probably ain't even holding. And see, that's where one of those fine lines is, where it's easy to hold a grudge, it's easy to hold the hate if it's not reconciled. See, reconciliation takes care of the fact of the guilt. That means we'll know if they're guilty, because it's like they're doing what they can to fix it. They're active in it. And then the shame, it's like that's a toxic thing. But guilt unworked or unknowledged. See, and that's the thing right there. It's like we'll hold that guilt because that's what's supposed to be happening. It's like we get into this delusional thing to where it's like we refuse to acknowledge the betrayal as such. We refuse to acknowledge a wrongdoing as such. It's like we get jammed up. It's like we can't accept it as is. So it's like we're holding that guilt thing right there. And then we're holding that forgiveness that we're trying to punish them with. And that we want them to say their character is that, whatever that betrayal was. It's like we want them to suffer as a flawed person. But yet here's the thing. Holding a person in forgiveness, we're holding that guilt and shame. It's toxifying ourselves. The other person is like, it probably ain't even doing nothing to them, especially if they're a alleged narcissist, alleged sociopath, which I don't really believe in so much. Those are just general terms for people who have gone numb, people who have been traumatized so much in life and taken so many wrong paths. Now, I'm not to say there's probably one true psychopath or one true narcissist out of a million people or whatever. It's probably way low, just like that. All right, moving right along. All right. True love doesn't deny pain. It transmutes it. See, it transmutes it. It takes pain and it changes it to something else. It uses it as fuel. It uses it as a fertilizer. It doesn't use it as a weapon. It doesn't use it as a punishment thing. Nor does it use it as a reward thing. It uses it as a healing thing. You can't love and judge at the same time. It's like, well, No shit, Sherlock. And we think, well, okay, but it's like you got to be able to judge a situation, right? You got to be able to judge what's coming from the person. You got to be able to judge their intent. You got to judge whether they're malicious. You got to judge whether they're going to stab you in the back. You got to judge whether they're a bad person. And you see that? See where all that focus went? Not one bit of that was about healing. Not one bit of it was about understanding. Not one bit of it was about compassion. Not one bit of it was about true love. Not one bit. Well, a person would say, well, shoot, it's like, no, it's like you're crazy. You just can't love everyone or anyone. Some people are unlovable. And I would say, yes, that's correct. That is absolutely correct. But they're not unhealable. They are not unreconcilable. All right, let's keep on trucking right along. See what we stumble across. You can't love and judge at the same time. It's like I can't really see where you're at and use my intuition if I'm looking at you, judging you this way. Like say if you're some dude and there's been a few people paint a picture of you before I even met you because I had my guard down and I listened to gossip. See, that's another thing, gossip. But we ain't going into that right now. We're looking at this. What it really is. At its core, the principle speaks to the incompatibility of two opposing spiritual energies. Unconditional presence, love, and evaluative separation, judgment. I didn't write that. I don't write like that. I try to keep it real simple. Yeah. I don't use big words like that. But anyways, love invites unity, empathy, acceptance. Judgment creates distance, comparison, and conditionality. When we judge, we create a wall between me and you, deciding if the other is worthy. When we love, we dissolve that wall. All right, now check this out. Check this out. This is a real good one. You might want to brace yourself for this. This could be very potentially upsetting, what I'm getting ready to tell you. There's so many things that can be masked as virtues, attributes, and yet what they are is something unreconciled in ourselves from years ago. It could be all the way from childhood, and we could mask it like that. One of the most common ones that I see the most is workaholic mentality. Workaholic mentality. So that's to say, it's like, what to be industrious is a bad thing? No, it's a good thing. However, it's the thing in the subconscious driving it that makes the difference. Because see, if it's being driven by a hurt, some type of one of the four things, the abandonment issues, and what is it? What if it's being driven by these things, abandonment, depression, PTSD, emotional immaturities, those happen during this childhood from early toddler years to upper, preteen years. Throughout those times, we got those dinging around. They ain't been resolved. It's like then fear, self-seeking, self-delusion, self-pity is driving the bus. And it can come off real rigid, real cold-hearted, and very protective about just really just putting that virtue of being a workaholic as first and foremost, the whole shebang of the thing. of making money, of being successful, of being better than everyone else. And it's achievable, and it's real. But it is, then again, it still falls back on what's driving that. What's driving the bus in the subconscious? You know, I look back on a time in my life when I'd made the most money. I was building a business, actually had employees, getting jobs, writing up contracts, doing job layouts, job preps, all that. Had that drive. But it's like, looking back at that, it's like, yeah, on the outside, it's like, yeah, that's really admirable. That's very admirable. But if you looked at the people that was closest to me, like my children, they were early teenage days during that time, and you'd see that it's like I was very superficial. It's like I was really shallow. It's like I had no connections whatsoever, understanding anything that didn't pertain to making money immediately and stuff like that, or making good money, or working for other people. I would shoot it down, mock it. I would mock at it, joke it off in a rude manner, and then call it funny and act like it's funny. That's how I was. I couldn't see the value in everything. Let's look at some of this other stuff. All right, pertinent ideas to anchor the principle. Judgment says, prove it. Love says, you're already enough. Well, a person could say, no, it's like we need to be growing and develop. Yes, this is true. But then again, it goes back to what's driving those words. What's driving those words? Is it coming from a place where you've reconciled yourself and you've acknowledged hurts, processed them out? It wasn't something you just swept under the carpet and said, oh, yeah, that was years ago. It's time to grow the fuck up. That's years ago. It doesn't matter. Blah, blah, blah. No. Is it reconciled? See, that's what makes all the difference in the world. You don't have to agree with someone to love them, but you do have to surrender superiority. It's like surrender superiority. It's like, well, I'm a good person. I don't bully people. It's like, do you? Is that true? Is that really true? I mean, if we set a standard right here, right now, to show you a very clear line of whether you are or not, would you hold up to that mark? Okay, let's say a standard to know if I'm using dignity, treating people with dignity, a real dignity. And let's say if I want to actually treat the divinity in all people, then that means I'm not coming off at them as me better and them lower, or even someone I look up to that's in the billions of millions of dollars or whatever and runs whatever company. If I'm looking up to them, then it's off. And if I'm looking down at somebody else, then it's off. You see that? Because the reason it would be off means I'm in protection mode. I'm in judgment mode. I'm in fault finding and blaming mode instead of healing mode, instead of understanding mode. And am I perfect at it? No. I was falling into it just earlier this morning and yesterday. I got into a little smidge of it. You know, that feeling of, where your boundaries are at and they're being crossed, and then you get this feeling of, oh, you can't just overstep my boundaries and judgment, stuff like that. See, Anytime it becomes about me instead of about we, bam, it triggers that. But that's another thing. That's another component to it, I guess you could say. Let's look at some more of it. Your capacity to love is directly related to your ability to hold space for imperfection, your own and others. Son of a bitch. Really? It's like, well, no, we don't hold space for that. We don't allow that. We don't allow not growing and developing. We don't not allow changing. It's like, yeah, well, there's that. But again, it goes back to what's pushing them words. You can have one person right here and one person right here. They say the exact same words and they're pushing for the exact same thing. But it's what's under it that's pushing it. All right, let's look some more at the standard to know it's being done. Ask yourself at the end of the day, did I offer others the kind of presence I would want if I was at my lowest? Like, say if you was at your lowest, and let's say you spent 10, 15, 20 years just kicking ass, and you just built a freaking fortress, an empire of money, freaking 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 employees. And you was driven on that workaholic mentality. But you come to a place and you realize it's like the superficialities and shallows just kept rising and rising to where you ain't got no depth. You can't even freaking breathe now. At the lowest place. At the lowest place. Did I offer others the kind of presence I would want if I was at my lowest place? See, our lowest place isn't necessarily at a single moment's act. No, our lowest place is when we have gone months, years, decades, end on end, keeping a facade going and not even knowing we're doing it. And then the jig is up and it's checkmate time. And it's either time to go absolutely crazy, delusional, to keep perpetuating that, or let this extreme pain, depression, all that twisted, misplaced anger, misplaced pain, misplaced everything just come off in any and every direction, just affecting anything and everybody around us that we can't even control the son of a bitch. That is the lowest place. That is the lowest place a man can be. Okay. If the answer is yes, you love without judgment today. And if not, reflect without shame, but with the commitment to do better tomorrow. See, that's the thing right there. See, that is a really, really, really good marker. That's like when we realize that we have really judged harshly, when we realized we have spent years in fault finding and blaming, stemmed out of things that weren't healed and reconciled in our own hearts and minds, according to the guilt factor and the shame factor. When we realize that, oh my God, it's freaking devastating. It is just really devastating, especially from a man's point of view. Our ego that we build up, that persona, that tough ego that we build up, that tough guy persona that nothing never bothers us, that we can rise above everything. Well, that's true. And we are supposed to be that, except there's the one kind that is built of a wholesomeness and integrity and reconciliation of self and others in the world we live in the spirit of the universe or God or whatever. And then there's the other one. It's being driven by those dents and dangs and those scars throughout the early years. that were never rectified. They were never reconciled. They were never addressed. They were never acknowledged. They were never approached. And they were never processed properly. So it's like, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? If a person finds themselves backed up in a corner, let's say I was a man that built up a business, and I fought through all the hard years, and it became successful, and then it had a growth period that was just wonderful and everything, and then it came back to another circle to where it was either it needs to evolve into something different and bigger and better, or what? Crash because it's reached its tipping point, to where it's reached its full bloom point, to where it cannot be harvested anymore. You can only harvest it to a certain point. And let's just say I got to that point and I realized my dents and dangs that I never reconciled with myself. I treated my loved ones and my woman with that shell that I developed around my heart and my mind to protect those harms, those coping mechanisms, those coping ways of being, and those survival roles had finally came to an end, to where all the loved ones were just done. They were just hurt so much. They're tired of trying. They're tired of wearing the masks that I required them to wear. And it's like they're done. They're done. It's like they're done. It's like they can't really figure out if it's them or it's you, or is it life? Is it the devil? Can't really figure it out. All they just know is something needs to be done. And it's like when people reach that point, separation. That's what they do. That is what they do. So where's a man to go from there? If he's at that point, what's a man to do? You know, that's the $1 million question. What to do, what to do, what to do. Check this out. Is shame disguised, when shame is disguised as morality, is it a thing that perpetuates and allows the coping mechanisms and survival roles to be masked as virtues and attributes? And the answer to this is, yeah, it does. And the crazy thing is when it's like that, the person's saying all the right things. It looks like they're acting in all the right ways, because they are. They're in consistent growth and development. They're in consistent growth and development of helping other people do the same. The only thing is the connections, the heart connections, the mind connections, the emotional connections. It's not there. And one thing that's definitely not there is an acknowledgement and a gratitude towards the spirit of the universe, which I personally, without sounding all religious, don't take me there, I think that's got to be acknowledged in first and foremost. And no, I'm not a big Bible thumper anymore. I used to be. I used to hide behind those virtues. I was very polished on the outside. But anyways, no, I believe what the Bible says. It says the very first thing we should do when we wake up. It doesn't say when we wake up, but it says, first, yea, seek the kingdom of God, and all other things shall be added unto you. It's like, whoop-de-doo, what the fuck's that even mean? Here's what it's came to mean for me, and trust me, I've been searching this for years and years and years and years and years. I cannot tell you how much hours and times I've spent tweaking in that damn Bible. But this is what I think. For one, look at what Jesus was doing. Not so much as what he was saying, but his actions. His actions. And a little bit of what he was saying. So like every time he did a miracle, it was a participation in a miracle. It wasn't, oh, my magical Jesus power has healed your ass. No, it's like, your faith has healed you. And he would start out and he would address a couple of things. Whether it was healings or breaking the bread. That's one of my most favorite ones. Breaking the bread, feeding 5,000 people with a couple of fish and a couple of loaves of bread, and there were 12 baskets left over. See, he would give thanks as it's already done. It's already accomplished, and he would start moving forward in that as if it's already done. Doesn't matter if you're only looking at 2 fish, 2 loaves of bread, you got 5,000 people to feed. No, he thanked the Father that there was enough and started breaking bread, breaking the fish, passing it out, breaking it. It just kept unfolding, 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 unfolding. He didn't question it and say, okay, we're going to do a bunch of stuff and we're going to do a bunch of rituals and we're going to pray and beg because we don't see any signs of how it's going to work. No, it wasn't nothing like that. It was just straight up acknowledgement. And this is what I believe the acknowledgement was about like the quantum field, the Akashic field, the Akashic records, and quantum sciences. That's what he was talking about. That's the kingdom of God. It's like we come from the spirit of the universe. It has no beginning. It has no end. It always was. And if everything else was stemmed from there, then it's very close kin to no beginning and no end. And that's what we are, essentially, in our innermost being. We just are. And a person would say, well, that's ridiculous. We live and die. We got all these decisions we make. We make bad decisions, good decisions. Well, yeah, that's here in this physical realm. See, this is a realm. This is a dimension. This is the dimension of beginnings and ends. This is the dimension of creations. Inside the mind of God is the infinity of possibilities in its entirety. Every story we can ever dream up of, every kind of life we can ever dream up of or live, it's already there. It's already complete. See, we're drawing from that. You can call it the Akashic records, the Akashic field, the quantum field, or whatever. It's the mind of God. And we draw, and see, it's constantly trying to live, and it's trying to manifest itself in certain ways. That is probably the purest, truest love that we can't comprehend with the lens we got here in this realm. But it's like it constantly tries to grow, and it's growing through our hearts and minds, and it's for us to figure out what the Spirit is trying to manifest as, and to help it get there, and to help it be that, and then move on to the next one. That's our goal. That's our job every single day here as living in this life and death thing of beginnings and ends. That's our job. And I think the other component, no, I don't think the other component, I pretty much know the other component, is do what Jesus said. Acknowledge. It's an acknowledgement. It's a remembering. It's a reclamation of independence. He would run around and say, the Father God and I are one. The Father and I are one. And a person will say, well, yeah, you can say that and everything, but it's like if we're thinking, God's all superpower, indestructible and all that. Well, it's like, yeah, from the other side of life and death in that dimension, in that realm. And also on a grand scale, and the omnipresence here in this physical realm. But as individuals, we live in these weak bodies that can be killed, hurt, maimed, harmed, whatever. But that still does not deny the fact that it's a house of the Spirit of the universe running the show. It's like Well, I think one of the coolest things that I heard not too long ago is somebody was talking about, you can go to the ocean for riches, and you can take cups, buckets, whatever, you can get as much as you want out of it, and it doesn't even mess up the ocean whatsoever. I mean, you can have, it's endless. But even so, just a simple cup scooped out of the ocean, it doesn't mean that the ocean is separate now and this water and this is no longer the ocean water. No, it's just in a different container now. And yeah, once that ocean water comes out of that container, it most likely evaporates, goes back into the metaphorical ground or air, and then back into the ocean again. That's what we are. And the more and more we do that, the more and more we acknowledge this. Every morning, wake up, instantly say. Well, here I'll give you an example of what I do and have been doing personally for a few years now. As soon as I wake up, first things out of my mouth, in my mind, try to grab a hold of it immediately, plant the seeds. I am thankful for the life and death of Timothy Daniel Wilson in its entirety. I am the master of my own fate. The Father and I are one. And then I do a couple other little morning rituals I do. But I think what the Bible said is very spot on. I won't go into a lot of debate of, this or that, because you can take what I just told you and you can fit it into any religion. And any religion, if they look at it, and you can take that garment and put it on and see what fits best for you. Because maybe Christianity doesn't fit you best, or you don't want to wear that. See, we don't have to wear the same clothes every damn day. And it's not like we're trying to be somebody else or trying to be people-pleasing and fit in with everything and anything. It's that intention behind it. It goes into one thing that shocked me so much. A couple of years back, I started a research on this one little angle. I thought, how the hell does a person know, or what kind of standard can a man make for himself to know if he is truly walking in love and kindness without being a pushover or naive? What is an exact standard to know that would work for anyone and everyone? Or if is that even a thing? Is it even possible? And the answer is yes. Yes, it is. Absolutely possible and doable and real simple. And here it is. When we're drawing on something that is absolutely limitless, the spirit of the universe, when we're drawing on that, if we can stay focused on that in every situation, all day, every day, and we don't have fear of lack, we don't have fear of losing, because we're standing from that point of view. We're not all worried about what we're going to lose or who's going to mess up our life or these people are doing this or not doing that. And I'm trying to do this over here and I'm trying to make that. And I'm building this and I'm doing that. And y'all aren't doing this and y'all are just drifting along and I'm the captain of my ship and you're going to mess me up. No, you're not going to be like that. And here's the standard to know if walking in love and kindness without being a pushover or naive. And it is simply this. Am I doing things out of love instead of for love? See, one, and they look exactly the same. They're like twins. But here's the thing. One of them is being drawn out of an infinity of it. But even Jesus, he knew He knew that this flesh body, this mind and intellect and stuff, it burns on fuel. See, he would draw away from the crowd. He would go off by himself. He would pray and meditate, and he did that like lots. So that is a must, to defragment and reboot. So I'm not saying stay in the game all day, every day, and be everything to everybody. No, not that. I mean, yes, that, but not that. See, one is giving out of an infinite supply, and the other one is trying to get out of lack or a perception of lack. Try to be this way, do that way, so I can get loved. No. It's an unveiling of it. It's an unveiling of the infinity of it. It's not. I don't even know if you would even call it a flow. I don't know if it flows, stops, goes. It just is. How did how to know how to know if you've reached your max potential of that for that day? Because some days are better than others. How to know? You'll know because you'll snap and you'll start freaking out, thinking that other people are messing up your stuff. And you see, it's so important to have allies with the same frame of mind. You know, look at the Jesus stories. If you research a little into that, the apostles he chose, they were educated. They were money makers. He didn't have a bunch of apostles of beggars. Now he chose something to work with that was different. But also, even the beggars, the lepers, the cripples, the liars, and the thieves. Anyways, we're at 47 minutes and 57 seconds. There was a couple other papers here I was going to go through, and we kind of took a different scenic route. I was going to go through these survival roles and kind of, seems like every time I try to like lay out a talk that I'm going to do for YouTube and just kind of orchestrate it and everything, that I do it, and it just doesn't work. It seems better to just do it day by day. It's like the research and everything, what I'm saying, what I'm not saying, or what I think I'm saying. Seems like it goes better like that. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of everything. Who knows? Who cares? So, anyways, it's my day off. That is a thing I do. Every several days, I take a day off. Literally a day off. Don't wear no watch. Keep that schedule open. I do the morning rituals. After that, boom. It has 2 rules. Do nothing and keep doing nothing all day and all evening. That means that's a free day to do whatever. Waste time as if you got all eternity. As if you got all eternity. Waste time. Maybe go watch a movie. Yeah, I'm due for a movie too. I haven't watched a movie a couple, 3 years. I think it was like 7, 8 years ago. I quit watching TV, pretty much. I do watch YouTube stuff though. It can be what I perceive to be a good, healthy coping mechanism, unless I discover otherwise. see which folders go into which. Yeah, I'm just leaving it running now. It's like you're not even supposed to be here with me right now. You're not even supposed to be watching me right now. You're not even supposed to be listening to me. I'm not even supposed to be talking to you. I gotta put these all in the right folders, keep everything organized. That is, unless it becomes bland and I need to shuffle things up. Okay, that's a letter to the sovereign. And this is the theory that true love connections in the highest degree purify everything. It's a purifier. You like filtered water? You like that. And I'm not sure where I would put that in. Maybe we'll put that into the quotes folder. I'm not even sure which one it came out of. It's just survival roles. We didn't even go into that. That's where I was gonna really take it, but somehow we took the scenic route. I think we covered all the bases. I don't even know what this video is entitled. Like these videos, I have no idea what to entitle them until they're done, and I kind of look at it and kind of think about what I think I said, or think I did, or whatever, or think I shared, and then try to kind of name a little something to that. You know, there's this crazy mindset where we get fixed in. We think big numbers means big success, right? Not necessarily. It is that, yes. When it comes to like followers or money. No, I honestly believe you can be just as top of the world and just be as free as can be. See, the thing where we get caught up in is we get trapped in this thing where we think somehow money's going to solve all our problems. It's going to solve all our problems of time. We'll have more time for this, we'll have more time for that, have more time with family, more time to do what you want to do. That is straight up delusional. It really is. Because here's the thing. It's about perception. It's about faith. It's about the words out of our mouth. It's about choosing. It's about deciding. You know when you got time to spend time with your kids? When you say, guess what? I'm taking this time off at this date and this much amount of time. I'm not going to think about anything else. Nobody call me. I'm not even going to have my phone with me. Oh, you're planning on working that day? No. Take that time off. That is, unless you got a cool job and you're going to get fired because you've already missed too much work. And you gotta. It just drives me so crazy. It drives me so crazy. Like there was a time in my life, thinking, all right, got to rearrange everything so the life will be working for me. So it'll be working. And then I can do what I need to do. And then you do it, and then you're still singing the same song, but for different reasons. I ain't got time. I gotta. So it's craziness. It's craziness. And with that mindset, to actually become really successful and to be making millions of dollars, 6, 7 figures, 8 figures, whatever, 9 figures, it's like to carry that mindset into that. God, that would just be devastating. It would just be so devastating. My God, could you imagine? It's like you think you're spread thin now. You think you can't do nothing now just because you got 5 things in your life that's not working and that is moving like a snail, and it seems like you're taking a freaking little bitty shovel and a pick to dig through a mountain feeling. Just imagine if you had 100 things like that on your plate. then how would your heart and mind be operating? It'd be like, holy shit. Damn. Damn. I can't remember who it was. That one dude, billionaire dude, he said, if you can't be grateful and thankful for a simple cup of coffee, you cannot be grateful for a yacht. And I remember when I heard that, I'm thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? What's that even mean? And I know now what it means. It's from the inside. The external fight is won from the inside. It's won from in here. It's in our hearts, in our minds. Perception first and foremost. It's in the being. It's in the being. It's like, what are you being when you acknowledge something, and you approach something, and you process something? What was you being right before you did that? See that. And even though to me it's like these things we've talked about right now, I feel like it's the holy grail of life. No, yeah, maybe for the most part, yeah, maybe, who knows? But even so, it's like that gratitude, that thankfulness, just a little bit every day, and that acknowledgement of the divinity, the spirit of the universe, the acknowledgement of humanity, the acknowledgement of life and death. See, we're all going to die. We have that in common. I assure you that. This flesh will die. This Timothy Daniel Wilson right here will die. And I try to reconcile that by acknowledging that to the spirit of the universe every day. I don't know, maybe it's being driven by an unhealthy fear, maybe it's a healthy fear, I don't know. When I wake up and say, I am thankful for the life and death of Timothy Daniel Wilson in its entirety, that's just my way of saying, here I am. I surrender my heart, mind, body, and soul to the Father of the universe, to the Father God. See, that's what I'm doing when I say that. It's a surrender. Whether I do good in this life, or whether I mess it up, or whether I do nothing with it, or whether I'm full of regrets when I die or not, or whether I make $1 million bazillion or not, or whether I just stay working down at the fuel station, just greeting people every day, helping them to get gas, and just talking to them. Just that little bit of connection, when you have that little connection of that paper and that hand, that exchange of money, that little connection. It's an extreme. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. Starting to ramble on. When you start to ramble on, you say the conversation's done, you done played it out, you done talked too much. To say too much is to say nothing at all. God damn. Holy shit. See you in the funny papers.